Welcome to the Mean Green Show.
Every day, get down.
Welcome to the Mean Green Show.
Every day, get stronger.
Let's go. Welcome to the Mean Green Show.
What up, what up, what up? What's freaking up, Jared?
What's going on?
Don't leave me hanging, bro.
Won't leave you hanging.
How was your weekend?
It was good.
Good.
Enjoyed it.
What you do?
I watched some football all
Football.
weekend, man. The whole weekend.
How do y'all feel about ties in football? That's what today's podcast show is about. Should the NFL allow you to finish in a tie?
Should they? I feel like that's bad, man.
It shouldn't.
I watched a coach play for a tie yesterday.
Yes, and it was the team that I love and cheer for. It makes it worse. Like in high school, finishing a tie? Because college, you can't.
That's a good question. I don't think so, though.
So why would you make the pros? And it's in a 10-minute quarter. Why not at least give them 15 minutes? Okay.
That's
hey,
a good
guys. I promise this is about fitness and life and mentality. All right, Jared. Today, man, we get to start another series.
Yes, sir.
So thank you guys for tuning in and dealing with us and giving us feedback. I love when they are in the chat box just going at it. So
Love
continue to
seeing
do
that.
so, guys. Jared, do you want to provide the title of the series and I do the episode title, or do you want me to do the title of the series and you do the episode?
The episode.
Yeah, because it's the whole series of the episodes is called blank, but then this
Oh,
specific
okay.
episode has a title. Which one
Okay.
do you want?
I'll do the series.
All right, what you got?
Series. So, life, right? Everybody has their direction in life. And I think it's important for us to know that throughout life, sometimes things change.
Absolutely.
Right? And as things change, whether it's good, whether it's bad, in order for us to adapt to life, we have to make adjustments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in every pillar in life. So, that's what this podcast is about. We want to not only talk ourselves through maybe some adjustments that
Absolutely, I
we
do.
might have to make, but talk to you guys about some adjustments that we might see you have to make. So,
Love it.
that's
Love
what
it.
it's all about. But I think one of the big things we want to focus on is what we're talking about today, because it's I think one of the major pillars when it comes to adjustments, and
Absolutely.
that is
Fear. 100% fear. And the thing that I think that a lot of us will be able to dissect today, whether it's something that you've seen before or never seen before, is Jared, Lisa, Vanessa, James, whoever, is fear always a bad thing? All right. So I love to get Jared's perspective. I love to give my own insight, but also get your feedback down in the comment section. So that's what it's about, right? Are you worth the freaking adjustment at the end of the day? You know, and how does fear dictate your thoughts? Jared, you start with it, right?
Yep.
Fear. When I say fear, what's the first thing that come to mind? Is that relationship? Is that career? Is that mental health? What is, when I say fear or somebody say fear, what's the first thing that comes to your attention?
for me, fear is deterrent. That's the first thing. I'm not thinking, even though I know it's close to Halloween, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm scared to go in a haunted house. I'm thinking deterrent, because I think fear is just that. It's something that it's almost like a reason for you not to do something. Like, oh, snap, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared of that. So that's, for me, it's a deterrent. What
Wow.
about you?
I think for me it's crazy. I don't think about being scared, right?
Yeah.
I don't think about being terrified of anything. I'm more so thinking of failure, and not failure in everything, just specific things. Like sometimes I see fear as a father,
Okay.
right? I see fear sometimes when I have to make a huge decision, not for me personally, but when it comes to a whole. So not necessarily being scared or terrified where I want to run, but more so when I hear fear, the initial thought is me being a dad, or the initial thought of me making a decision for the Beast Mode games the night before,
Okay.
right? So what about you guys? I'm curious, what comes to you when you hear the term fear? And look, man, we're all one big family, so this is just a live section. Unless somebody's replaying this and they want to do it in the comment section, I would love to see in the live chat, what are things that potentially come to your brain when you hear the word fear? All right, Jared, do you believe in fear?
I do. Man, we picked a good topic.
This is gonna be good.
This is a good topic. So if y'all know me, y'all know like I'm big into just mindset coaching. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
the shaping of the mind, and this is just one of those big things for me.
Yeah.
So today, I really hope we could hit on both sides: the fear as a bad thing and fear as a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'll say for now, I kind of want to focus on the negative part of fear,
I'm with you.
and yeah, I think it's. What was your question? Is it a good thing? What'd you say?
Just good or bad, but I like your direction. So let's stay there. So we're on the good side?
The bad side.
The bad
first.
side.
Bad
All
side.
right. Then let's just go back and forward. Bad, right? What makes fear bad?
So I think of me driving down the street
Mm-hmm.
and it's pitch black and a deer jumps out in front of the car, and you've heard the term deer in the headlights.
Mm-hmm.
So that stunning fear that stops you from doing anything,
Yeah.
I think that's when fear becomes bad.
Mm.
So
I had to think. Our last podcast, we had to be careful because if we clap for some reason, the audio like go mute. So I guess I can go back to clapping.
yeah, we can clap on
Okay.
this one.
That's good, Jay, because I've been there. You know, I've been the deer in the headlight, and I think interesting. This might turn the whole podcast.
No.
What's interesting is that when I make decisions for myself personally, that's when I'm a deer in the headlights. I won't move. But when I make decisions based upon a leadership role, I would never, ever just stop, right? Like I'm gonna wing it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a little transparent about me freezing. I think one of the biggest things that I froze in life, what's a good one? I think I had a moment in life when my career didn't go to the place where I thought it was going to go, which is going to be a pro basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
So I only thought NBA. And then when I got to college, I was like, okay, I'm not at Duke or Texas, so
Yeah.
I might have to go overseas to get to the NBA,
Yeah.
right? So it started adjusting, right? And then when that wasn't what I believe God called me to do, I froze.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to work. I became lazy. I was frustrated. I ain't gonna say depressed at that time, but I definitely was at a place where I low-key didn't want to be around people that was doing great things. You know, I get all of y'all are perfect.
Yeah.
But it sucks when all your peers are smashing it and they killing it and they doing things that they want to do, and you like, I don't know what I'm doing in life, right? And I've been at a place where not that I didn't like them or I was jealous of them. It was just hard to be around so much success when I didn't know where or what success was going to look like for me.
Yeah.
So that was my deer in a headlight moment, and I'm just so grateful that I'm not still there.
Yeah.
So Jared, hearing that, what would you tell the 23-year-old Chris? You know, the guy that thought the jump shot was going to provide all the things that it was supposed to provide for his family. What would you tell that person that's in a headlight, like, I'm stuck?
I would tell you that I think the hardest part of making adjustments is understanding that what you did wasn't a waste. Like, all of those jump shots mattered. Like, they matter for where you're headed.
I like that.
So, like, keep going. They
I
matter
like
for
that.
where you're headed. So when you freeze because you're like, oh, crap, I can't take another jump shot, like, what were you taking jump shots for? What did
Wow.
you get from taking those jump shots?
Wow.
And that's kind of the route I would try to push you down.
Because that was the reality.
Yeah.
Because he's telling the truth, right? So weird workout, right?
Mhm.
So the one we did today is pretty tough, right?
Yeah.
But the workouts for basketball conditioning was a little bit different because conditioning is basketball. It wasn't like punishment was, hey, go run a mile under 6 minutes,
Mhm.
right? Go run a suicide sprint under 28 seconds. Like, do a down and back sprint under 9 seconds. Like, that was like conditioning for punishment. But when I went to go work out, if you think inside the three-point line for, I think, high school at that time was 18 feet.
Okay.
So 15 to 18 footers, I would make 20, not shoot 20,
Make
20 at the 5 spots inside. Then I would do the same thing on the outside at the three-point line. So I made 100 in, made 100 out. Then I did those same spots again, but I had to take one hard dribble, going right, going left. So I'm making 200 in, 200 on the outside. So the average shooter in basketball not that y'all asked, if you shoot 50% from the field, that's considered pretty good.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to make 400, then I probably shot 800 shots just on jump shots. That's not counting the ball handling. That's not counting anything else that I've done in that workout. So what did that teach me now is the question. It's mean green.
Yeah.
Right? Like those jump shots, that sacrifice, that consistency. Because the thing is, it's hard to shoot when you don't know you're going to make it.
Absolutely.
Right? Think about that, guys. If I told you today you're going to show up to the gym, and when you show up to the gym, you're going to see 10 pounds off the scale, and you're going to see it in your face, and you're going to see it in your body, it would be easier to work out then. But the reality to it is you're going to work your butt off. It's going to be a hard workout, but guess what? You're not going to see a difference in your body at that moment, right? And it's the same thing with those jump shots I took, right? Who would have thought years after that it would have created a brand?
Yeah.
And I think the way that you worded that was genius. Jared, question. Have you ever been stuck in that blind spot? Because it's cool for us to be like on the plyo boxes with the mics and then say, oh, Jared said to do this, so I just got to do this. But I want to connect with somebody today. Like, have you ever been where you was like, I'm stuck and I don't know how to move? And what was that like, if that was a time in your life?
Yeah, definitely. But you said something that resonated to me, and I kind of want to take it there. And kind of funny, actually. This is how I feel in the house when I live with myself. Like, when I'm in a house by myself, I ain't gonna lie. When I think about somebody breaking in, I'm like, oof, man, I hope nobody break in. When I'm by myself.
Yeah.
It's kind of nerve-wracking. Like, oh, snap.
Right.
I hope nobody come in this house. But if I ever have anybody in the house with me, like sister, girlfriend, dog, whoever, I'm like, I wish somebody would break in this house. Because they hit like that protection mode. So it's kind of funny that you said, like, when it comes to you and your personal, you have some fear. But when it comes to, like, family like, or the job, yeah, you're like, man, whatever.
Right.
So it's as a guy, maybe I'm resonating with somebody. There's just that protection mode I think is pretty cool. But for me, just kind of transitioning this into me, like, before I came to train, I always talk about that time. I truly think I was depressed, yo. I ain't gonna lie. I was really at a crossroads. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't like my job. I knew I had to transition into another role. I just didn't know if that was the role I wanted to be in. So I froze. Like, if y'all really – I sat down, I think – and this is – I think I told somebody I didn't work out for like 9 months. They were like, no way. Bro, I didn't work out for like 9 months. I think I played video games for 10 hours a day. Like, I didn't do anything because I was like, I don't know what move do I make. Is it going to be the best move? COVID. Like, I was just like,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was definitely one of the times where I didn't move. Like, I was fearful of which direction to go. I didn't know which way was right. So instead of taking action, I just froze. And I stayed where I guess you could say I was comfortable. So that was definitely a time. But like I said, that was a time where I can look back at it and say, man, like, I was depressed. Like, I didn't know what to do, where to go.
Yeah.
But when I finally did decide to make action, I started making phone calls. So.
Straight up. Because, I mean, at some point you're going to have to make an action.
Yeah.
Right? And I think if anybody connect with Jared with what he just said, thank you for sharing that. I think if anybody connect with you, either they're still there or they made the adjustment. Right? Kind of going back to what the whole title of this whole series is. So I want to tell every single one of you, if you are in that mud, right, and it's hard to climb out, you already made the first step, baby. If you're listening to this show, if you're watching this podcast or listening to it, that's it. Because all it takes is one moment, one light bulb to come up above your head and for you to make that adjustment. What was the adjustment? Excuse me. What was the adjustment for you? What was the phone call? What was the move?
For me, definitely it was people around me speaking life into me. Because at that point in time, not that I felt worthless, but it's like, man, like, coming from my perspective, you gotta understand, like, I had all these aspirations to be a D1 athlete as well. ACL injuries kept taking me out. Didn't have the opportunity. Then I went to a school, and I was actually still a good football player. Like, I was able to have a really good career there. Was able to go play professional indoor football. Like, I had all these aspirations in football, and it was all working out for me. And then once it was done, it was done. So, and when I tell you I worked my butt off just to even get there, just to even be able to say, hey, I play professional indoor football.
Yeah.
Like that was, I'm not going to say it was a peak, but for football, it almost was for me.
Yeah.
Just because I had worked so hard to get there. And then once that was done and I went to coaching, things kind of started going downhill a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, like the work had changed.
It's different.
Yeah, things were just different. So once I hit that point where football was almost well, at that point it was like, okay, football is probably no longer a part of your life.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what do I do now?
That's fair.
So
That's scary.
Yeah, so but because of my journey in football, because of the hard work, the persistence, literally everybody around me was like, bro, you can do what you want to do. Just do it.
Yeah.
And it was that constant conversation and people speaking life into, the work ethic, the drive, all of that kind of stuff. Like, you can do this, whatever you want to do, just do it. And finally somebody said the right thing, kicked me in my butt, and
Boom.
Here I am.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. It's for so many ways. It's okay. Let's go that direction, because it's only fair for me to say this because Jared and I are athletes, right? Or we played, and whenever you stop playing a sport, it becomes a lot harder depending on the amount of time and years you spent. For example, if I played in kindergarten basketball and then I stopped in kindergarten, I might get mad for a couple minutes, go pet my dog, go play PlayStation. I'm probably going to be all right after that.
Yeah.
You get to the 7th grade, you play and maybe you didn't make the team. Like, it sucks. Mom take you out for ice cream. You get over it.
Yeah.
You make it to 9th grade, or imagine every single person that's played a varsity sport and you didn't get to go play college. Like, everybody's been in that locker room if you played a sport and seen just everybody go into tears. And then you got the one or two. They might be teary-eyed a little bit, but they kind of go on to play college.
Another year.
So they might be sad because they're not going to play in high school with their peers, and sad that they're not playing no more. But they kind of go to the next level.
Yeah.
So that varsity player, they're hurt. But after, like, going to a 4-year college or going into a career, they kind of look at their glory days.
Yeah.
But then you go to college, and you play your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, and maybe you just had a good career, but you didn't get drafted. That's a different feeling. Okay, fast forward to Tom Brady. Maybe you played 20 years, and it's time to let it go. And he couldn't let it go. Why? Because he's talking about that same attachment that we're talking about, which is fear.
Yeah.
Now, Tom Brady probably have different businesses set up. He probably have different avenues. He probably doing a lot of things that Jared and I wish we could do right now, right? But still, it doesn't matter whether you're him or us or whatever position you're in. We all face that crossroad where you thought something was going to last longer than it was, or you thought the direction was going to take place that you wanted to take, but it's actually another route. That's where we're at. And I think I would love to kind of just tell you, sis, or bro, that you're more than what you think you are.
Absolutely.
And at that point, for me, I know y'all probably like, Chris, basketball, a sport? Yeah, that's just how that 8-year relationship with your dude went, and then it didn't go that direction.
Absolutely. And
you're heartbroken, right? Or the career that you poured out into and it just didn't go that direction. It's the same thing, right? So the thing is that you're more than that.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think it's really I know if you are surrounded with the right people to give you the right affirmations and tell you the truth that you are more than that, it puts you in a position to find growth.
Absolutely.
Jared, training wise, we said this in a previous podcast. Typically, people come in obviously to lose weight or gain muscle, but we see so much more, right?
Absolutely.
Training in the different facets, from personal training to group training, outdoors and indoors. Do you see that quite a bit, where you see someone facing a fear, but they won't move, like they won't eat healthier, or they won't stay consistent if they're working out? What would you tell that person? Or first, not even tell them. Let's talk about why they're potentially doing that.
Okay. I like that. As he said, obviously the not eating right, the not working out consistently, that's something. I've also seen the fear of I hurt myself 3 years ago, and I'm not going to do X, Y, Z, so
That's
you're
a
not
real
getting better.
That's a real one.
There's a lot of fear that I just see on the floor, outdoors, indoors, that I think it comes with you not being. This is new for a lot of people, and that's something that even I'm coming to learn, just because this was my home for 10 plus years, weight room, right? So this is my home. So I'm personally getting a better grasp of a lot of people that are walking in here. They're new to my house, right?
Yeah.
This is they're 2 months in,
Yeah.
so they don't have the same foundation that I have. So for me, trying to see people that are getting used to it, I see that they're not comfortable. It scares them. They're a little fearful of certain things, and I think that
That's real.
when it comes to consistently working out, if something scares you, man, it's easy to make an excuse not to do it.
Yeah.
It's super easy to make an excuse.
Yeah.
If you stepped out on a curb and rolled your ankle, it's super easy to come in here and say, hey, I can't squat anything. My ankle's messed up. Even though we're not messing with your ankle in a compromised position to where you can actually squat down.
Right.
You still have range of motion. Like, you can still do
get
that.
some
But
movement.
I understand the fear because you're not comfortable in here. All
Yeah.
you see is weight, and you think, nah, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
That's like me going to go skydiving. Me think, oh, no, that parachute's going to fail.
Yeah.
Even though for them, the failure rate is very low. So, like, that's what
real.
I'm thinking
That's well
as
said.
far as people coming in. Like, if I were going to tell somebody that was fearful coming in of anything, one, you have to trust that the people you have to trust your coaches.
Absolutely.
You have to trust the person that is in charge at the moment.
Yeah.
And we have to, one, earn, and we have to respect that
Yeah.
you trust us.
Yeah. I like that.
Can't trust everybody.
And I think too, that's the beautiful thing about, insert, right? Advertisement. That's what I really love about Mean Green.
Yeah.
If you're here, it's not just because of movement. You're here because you trust, you love the empowerment. And I think that's what, whether it's been said or hopefully we can kind of maybe chat about that in the chat box down below. Have you ever, or was you ever, or are you in a position now where you need that person to empower you based upon what you can do versus what you can see or what you feel? And, I was inspired today walking into the gym and seeing these guys go hard in the workout, like hard, like shirt off, like AC not on hard, right? And I'm like, I got fired up. I'm like, I can't wait to work out today.
Yeah.
And I think, and that was just by movement, right? Now we also have an encouragement by sound.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I would love for this community, the podcast community, because it's not just Mean Green that's listening and watching this, right? Yeah. It's a lot of others, When you're in a position, I like that. When you're in a position to be empowered and to be inspired, know the worth of that. Yeah, go there too. Because it's like a woman or a guy dating a woman or a guy, and then you go through a breakup, and then you work your butt off becoming the best version of you. And then everything you work for, when you meet that next person, you let go because you start dating again. Like, you got to, own and value what you just been through.
Yeah.
Because we've all been there, not just relationship-wise, it's career-wise.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy for Jared to train 150 people on his umbrella, and then when he get 250 people, you know what it took to get there. Why stop doing the things that got you there?
Exactly.
All right? Same thing in our marriage or being a father or whatever it may be. Jared, I think it'd be awesome. I'm going to throw this number out, and this number's so unfair for us to just throw it out there. I would love for you to think of you being in the headlights that you mentioned, as well as myself. Let's give them 5 steps or principles to get out the mud, and then we'll go to the other side of fear. Okay. So we got to we're going to give y'all, we did not write this out. We're going to give you 5 principles, and this is out of a transparency. We're not perfect by any means. We're just going to tell you what we did and what we've seen other people do to get out the mud. We'll give y'all 5 of them. All right. It was an unfair number, right? I don't even know why. I think it was my sophomore jersey number, since we're talking sports today. All right. Who's first? You or me?
I'll go first.
All right. What you got?
I say 1, and this kind of goes into mental, but breathe.
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 If you ever listen to somebody that talks about meditation, anything like that, it's literally for mental clarity. So if you're in a position where you're stumped, breathe. Just take a second, breathe to clear your mind and think about it. Because honestly, if your mind is jumbled, that's gonna
right.
make it even harder to take a step or to move because you're haywire.
Right.
So try to breathe.
I like
That's my
that.
first step.
And I consider that like processing,
Yeah.
responding, not reacting. After I'm breathing and I have that clarity, I think my next step would be go where you're empowered. You know, for some it's church, for others it's your best friend, for others it's the park and the sun, for others it's the library to read. Go where you're empowered. Go where you feel great. Go where you feel like you can be consistent at. And I think that would be my second one. Go where it empowers you. All right. 3.
I got you.
What you got
3
there?
for me would be to listen.
Mm.
Listen. I think that
Mm.
it's kind of based along what I was saying, guys. I got empowered by what people were telling me. I was listening. I'm not saying listen to everything, but you can start taking away some things that are going to help guide you to the decisions you need to make, to the moves you need to make, whatever it is that's holding you in that fearful spot.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen.
You know, we've been on this podcast show, this specific episode, we've been very mellow and kumbaya-ish today.
Yeah.
And I'm about to change it.
Uh-oh.
I'm about to change it. Oh, let's go. You know why I like that one so much? Listen, because some of us are in a position, including myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm stepping back. I'm changing my whole body. Some of us in a position because we talk too much.
Yeah.
We want to tell. If you ever train with me in the future, all right? I know I don't train as much, but if you come to me telling me you lost 50 pounds, or excuse me, you're 50 pounds plus,
Mhm.
and your health report is not where you want it to be, and you're not in a good mental space, and I start telling you, like, all right, let's start this. You start telling me everything that worked. Well, I need to do this, and this is what I do, and this is what I should be doing. And no. Like, stop talking. Shut up. Listen.
Absolutely.
Listen. All right. So, like, again, Jared has seen me in a different couple meetings. Like, it shuts me off when I'm trying to help somebody do something they've never done, and they want to tell me everything that they're doing. Listen. All right. And I think, honestly, guys, it's no horn to be tooted. But if I was to give Chris, speaking in third person myself, if I was to give myself an award, I would give the award of I'm a great listener.
Yeah.
Right. Whether I just met you and you're 9-year-old,
Mhm.
I'm gonna listen. Right. And especially don't let me. If I think that you're about to tell me something that I've never learned before, like I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm trying to treat you because it's so valuable to learn and hear something that you've never heard or listened to.
Heck yeah.
So getting to listen. Okay, we can go back to kumbaya-ish.
All right.
All right, where we at? Number 4?
Number 4.
Who's it on?
You.
It's on me?
Mhm.
I feel like I just shut up.
I was listening.
Oh, okay. You was listening. All right, hold on. Okay. All right, back up. Breathe.
Breathe.
Go where empowers you.
Listen.
Listen. My next step would be in that order. Implement. Right. It's one thing hearing, but it's another thing doing.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm not going to even go scripture based, but it's important to not just be a hearer, but also to be a doer.
Yeah.
And it don't have to be this massive step.
Mm-mm.
All right. I think one of the most dopest things I've told somebody in the fitness industry when as a person that I was able to train, they wanted to lose, I think it was almost 150, 200 pounds.
Mhm.
I told them to go to the mailbox once a day.
Yeah.
Just go check your mail. And it was the start of them losing 200 pounds. But I think we get so caught into the 157th pound. Like, no, we got to get to the first one, right? We got to
Lose
get to
one, lose
the
two.
mindset of doing something consistently. We got to get to the mindset of achieving something that you set up to do that day. We got to get to the mindset of believing in yourself that you can actually get out the bed and get to the mailbox. So it's really important to me to implement, because I think if you become great at one, you become great at many.
Yeah.
If you become great at implementing one thing, you become great at implementing multiple things. If you know how to organize one thing, you're better at organizing multiple things. So my next step after listening will be to implement something.
Love
All right.
that.
Number 5, bring it home, Jay.
Number 5, I think this will take us into our next segment too.
Hey.
Trust.
Oh,
Trust. You have to trust that what's on the other side of that fear is worth it. If you don't, you won't move.
It's back. Dang, that's good. If you remember what you said, could you repeat it again?
Yes, you have to trust that's what's on the other side of that fear is worth it.
You have to.
I feel like that's a Will Smith
trust.
line, though.
It might be, but I'm definitely quoting you. You have to trust what's on the other side of your fear.
It's
Oh.
worth it.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That's dope. If y'all see this, I don't know where I will put it. Oh, it's still blurry. It's like, oh, you still in focus. That's why. All right, it's just not gonna show. But it's there in my
That's
phone.
fine.
Yeah, I like that, Jay, for every reason. Because trust is in a lot of different things. You got trust in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You got trust in the person that you may be learning from. Here's a big one that I know a lot of motivational speakers and people like to use on the Instagram. You got to trust the process.
Yeah.
Like, it's so many different things that you're going to have to trust. But ultimately, man, I think, again, to get to the other side, man, it's so cool the way we came up with them 5 steps. It's no way you – yeah, I don't even like saying never, but it's no way you could it's no way you're getting to the other side without those things.
Mm-mm.
I've never done it. I'm not saying you can't because I haven't, but, man, I just couldn't imagine not processing things. I couldn't imagine not listening. I couldn't imagine not being in a place that empowers you. I couldn't imagine not implementing. I couldn't imagine not trusting. Like, what is life without that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would your weekend, Jared? What would have you done this weekend without those 5 things? I'm not even talking about fear now. I'm just talking about life.
I mean, one of the biggest parts of that is implementing. So if I didn't implement anything, nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. You went painting this past weekend? Was that this weekend?
Yeah.
Watched some football?
Yeah.
Went to church?
Yeah.
Trying to think what else you did. You trained?
Yeah.
Private group training?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that without listening? How do you do that without? I love it, man. I want us to take that away today. You know, if you don't hear nothing else that Jared and I said, man, write those things down. I'm curious if anybody wrote that down in the chat box. If Money Dame is on, he'll probably write it down. Or if he have it, he's gonna be like, oh crap.
Right now.
Again, step 1, you remember?
Yeah, step 1 was breathe.
2
was process.
2 was breathe. Go to a place that empowers you.
Empowerment. Go to a place that empowers you.
3
was listen.
4 was implement.
5, trust.
Trust. Yeah, that's solid. So we talked about fear, right?
Yep.
Overall, guys, I like the acronym FEAR, right?
Mm-hmm.
False evidence appearing real. It's an illusion, right? It's a thought. It's a dream. It may be something that you never even ever see in your life, but we can't allow that to detour us from going forward. There are so many things that I want to do in my life, Jared, that I have to do it. And, has fear ever played a role to limit me? Yes, it has. But every day I wake up, that's my goal, to not allow that to win.
Yeah.
So to speak life into you and to myself, for those that are listening, fear has no control over us. Fear has no control over our thoughts no more. Fear don't have control over our action no more. Fear has no control over our vision no more. Fear has no control over our thoughts, over our family, over anything that we touch. Fear has no authority. Y'all
0.
agree? If y'all agree, say amen down below.
Amen.
So that's dope. All right, Jay. So we talked about
The negatives.
the negative. This is going to sound really weird. How does fear actually benefit you? Or how could that be positive? What you
Okay.
think?
I think can we all agree that life requires change?
I do.
Life requires change.
I agree.
And I think change brings about, let's say this, the right amount of change
Okay.
brings fear, because
It comes.
big changes, buying a new gym, getting a promotion, losing 30 pounds, all of that brings the fear of what we call the unknown, right? But it's the fear of the unknown that means you're changing enough.
Yeah.
So I think if it is, obviously going to 10x a little bit here, if the change you're trying to make doesn't scare you, it's not big enough.
I already stood up.
That's what it boils down
This
to.
boy been dropping them today. Somebody put some diamonds down, some gems down below. God, Lee. Yo. Yo. That's so real, though, bro. That's real. Dang. I'm just thinking. Hold on, guys. I know I'm on the podcast.
But no, man, I think that's very important to me personally, because that's been my life,
Yeah.
especially over the past year.
Yeah.
Things have scared the hell out of me, and hopefully in this past year, things have scared the hell out of you. But
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to be scared of somebody treating you right. Like, oh crap, they treat me right. Do I
That's real.
give them time of day now?
That's real.
Are they gonna hurt me?
That's real.
It's valid thoughts. Losing 40 pounds, like, oh snap, is this the right gym? Is this the gym that's gonna get me there?
Yeah.
Am I gonna be able to stick? Like, that fear is good.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad fear. It's
Yeah.
good to have those thoughts, those processing thoughts, but
Yeah.
they need
That's
to
well
drive
said.
you instead of bringing you back.
Right. Because we talked about, obviously, the negative side of fear. So
Yeah.
this segment, we're not saying, everybody, you should be fearful of life. We're not saying that. Just this portion, we're saying how fear can actually benefit
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Jared, I thought that was well said, because it's just for so many reasons. For me specifically, man, it's like I have this thirst inside of me where I just want to be the best every day I wake up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what player said it, and I put it in my own words. I never wanted to compete to be the better player against the opposing team every time I stepped on the court.
Mm-hmm.
My goal every day to get on the court was to be better than I was yesterday and be better than whoever Chris can possibly be that day.
Yeah.
And I felt that was that rhythm that made me work harder. Because if I would compete against the Hawk might come in on Monday and he don't want to put in the work. And that doesn't get me better, right? So that was always my philosophy. But, man, I think the thing that everybody has to – not everybody. I would love to see some more insight, because it's exciting to see who has not made bigger dreams because of fear. Like, that struck me when he said that. Like, I know those principles. Like, I know that. But right now in this season in 2022, I think sometimes I call it the mini-me. It's a book by T. Harv Eker I read called Secrets of I'll tell you another time. But anywho, he talks about being a mini-me. And you have these mini-me thoughts when they come up. Like, man, I wish I can train 10 people in a group one day. Like, that's a mini-me thought.
Yeah.
Like, figure out how to do that from a platform of training 100,000 people, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Because 10 people will, okay, well, if I can just go to the park, and then if I can be creative enough to create a cool workout, then I can get 10 people. But thinking to train 100,000 people is like, okay, I may need to get 1,000 great trainers and blah, 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 blah. It's just a different visual, different picture. But I guess I went off on that little rampage because I've been having mini-me thoughts, I was saying, the last week or two, and I got to change that starting today. It's done. So
Done.
done. Anybody been having mini-me thoughts?
Definitely. I think we all do.
Man.
I think we all do. I think we all. What do you have, the little shoulder? What do you call them? I don't even know what you
The
call
angel
them.
devil
Angel
thing?
devil, yeah.
Yeah.
Mini-me thoughts. You can do this. No, you can't. You can do this. No, you can't. Mini-me's.
I want people to see this for those that work out specifically, all right, because that goes with everything in life, what you just said, but specifically when you're talking about creating, we're going into the fourth quarter of 2022, depending on when you're hearing this, like what can really just change if you make that adjustment, Jay? Like just think about that. Like, if in 4 months, let's say you have this mentality that eating healthy or eating clean it tastes bad, excuse me, or it's boring, or it's dry. Like, what if healthy food, clean food actually is seasoned very well? Like, what if it actually tastes well? What if it actually fuels your body and you're living versus just existing or being sluggish? Like, what if you make that adjustment? You know what I mean? Based upon your perspective,
Yeah.
right? Versus the way you grew up. Because if you tell me those things 30 years, 10 years ago, I'm only 18, guys. You told me those things years ago, I'm curious. I know the younger Chris wouldn't have saw that. I wasn't mature enough. So, for working out, man, 4 months from now, Jay, what can change in somebody's body and health?
And the world, and it all comes down to those small changes. I
That's it.
truly believe that. I told myself this morning I was waking up 5 minutes earlier. That's a small change,
That's
but
it.
changes. I think that a small change like that actually affects your entire day. So if you tell yourself, I'm making a
Word.
small change in my diet, that could change your entire day.
Word. Word. You know what? So fear, it's still an illusion, right? But what if the illusion makes you better? You know, I heard this thing about Michael Jordan when I watched the documentary on Netflix. He said it was a guy he was interviewing. The guy he was like a first, second year player. Nobody knew who he was. He had like 37. And Jordan, they told the story how Jordan got pissed. And he began to he was like eager to play that guy again. And the moral of the story, not to go into a longer story than what I need to go into, was that it never even took place. They said Jordan created this illusion that this guy was talking crazy to him, and the guy was like, I never even did these things to him. And Jordan went off, just went bananas the next time he played. But they said Mike would do those things. He would create these illusions to get him going because, the NBA schedule can be really brutal.
Yeah.
So he would create these things mentally. And I think if you be honest, I'm gonna give them an example for me, but I'm curious if anybody has ever made an illusion for them to implement, because I do it all the time. Work out near me, you will hear me. Like get on a podcast show before we start, you will hear me. I do these weird things, Jay. Today's workout I haven't did it yet, but when I do it, I'll probably the 15 minutes, especially that portion. No, the rower. I'll probably be the rower. I will probably be in a class, a packed class, and I'll be like, I can't be the trainer that don't get this done.
Yeah.
I know they're watching me to see if I'm actually going to get this done. I have to get to 750 meters because if I stop at 740 meters, Alex or Christian may walk by and actually see that I didn't do it. I tell myself these things, and the truth is everybody else is probably really tired. They don't care about Chris being in the class. They're not going to really walk by the rower, but I create these illusions and these thoughts to help me implement because it encouraged me. So, and that's in a healthy manner.
Yeah.
All right. I don't do that in an unhealthy manner. Have you ever created illusions now that I said that weird thing that I do?
That's how I worked out.
Really?
That's how I trained during football season. When I was playing heck, even now sometimes I'll do it, but no, if I'm dog tired and we're doing box jumps or something, this box jump, I'm thinking, oh, this is the fourth quarter, we're down 6, they throw me a jump ball, you got to go get it. That's how I gave myself the energy, the mindset to give max effort when I was dog tired.
Absolutely.
And that's literally, I would create that at the end of every workout. I would create a scenario in my head where I needed to be successful even though I was as tired as I was, about to pass out. No, you got to get up. You got to run 30 more yards. I think everybody should have some of that in them.
That's what winners do. Straight up.
Yeah.
Jared, Mike, you know what I mean? They telling us the game, right? That's what winners do. And I'm not saying be weird by any means, guys, but I am saying if you go back to what we're talking about with fear, you have a side that cripple and handicap you or limit you, right? And we're acknowledging that. But then there's a side where fear can actually fill you.
Yeah.
me being a dad is like everything right now. Like, I just don't believe in me not being a great dad, right? But what I'm saying is, if you listen to the words that I'm saying, I am scared and I'm terrified of being a horrible dad.
Yeah.
Like, so check this out. I grew up in a household, or back up, I'm one of the few of the percentage that grew up with a great dad,
Very true.
right? To be really transparent, like, in my neighborhood, it wasn't a lot of people that grew up with their dad. I'm not saying, even better yet, I had my mother and my dad in the same household. So I'm a part of the really, really small percentage of people.
Yeah.
So you got to understand this. There are people that grew up without their father, and they're like, yo, I got to be a great dad. Like that, like I can't be like that. My side is different. My side is like, I had a great dad. I got to bring the A game like my dad, if not be better.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, when I think of the twins, it's like, dude, I don't know nothing about baseball,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to send them on the field and not have a coach when they asking, hey, Mr. Green, will you coach your sons? Like, I don't know nothing about baseball. James, I'm over here like they rolling the ball out. I see the other coach talking about you got to field it and alligator it, right? So, true story. So, when I got on the field, like, all right, guys, we're going to work on mitten, because I think that's what they said, mitten. And I was like, today we're going to do the alligator. It's like, Coach, what's the alligator? When the ball comes in, you got to glove it, and then you got to alligator. Like, I did it before. You know, like, I'm terrified out there because I have 9, 11 kids that believe in me to teach them baseball, and I don't know really anything about baseball, but I know everything about being scared of not being a great father.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. There's nothing that's going to stop me from being a great father.
That's real, bro.
And fear does that. So, yes, fear can fuel you.
That's real. I think fear fuels me.
It's the alligator dog. You gotta Bro, I'm sorry. What you gonna say?
I think fear fuels me in relationships.
Mm,
And it popped in my head when you talked about a mother and a father in a household. Like, that takes so much hard work,
It's hard work.
bro. Like, I know. I obviously haven't done it. I don't know how much or what they've been through, how they made it work. But I don't know the exact number on the divorce rate in the United States, but I know it's
Huge.
ridiculous. I know it's
Huge.
ridiculous. And I know there aren't a lot of first marriage households that have made it. And for me, like, that scares me.
yeah,
I don't want to have kids with somebody I'm not married to and can't stay with.
yeah.
That's
real.
just me being real with y'all. Like, I don't want a stepdad, stepmom situation. I don't want to have to, raise a kid from afar or anything like that. That genuinely, that's a fear for me. But that also fuels me in relationships now because, like, we got to work.
Yeah, straight up.
We got to work.
I love it.
And for
love
me,
it.
like, I'm the fear that drives is I'm gonna do what it takes for it to work.
Absolutely. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Is it gonna work? I don't know. Scared as hell? Yes.
Yeah,
But we gotta make it happen.
I love it. I love it. Fear, on this side of fear, I can think of so many things that I've done or I've been a part of seeing other people do when fear has made them where they're the best version of them.
Yeah.
And I love it. Somebody is sitting there like, yo, I hear what y'all saying, but I've never allowed that to fuel me the way that it's fueled you guys. And we gave them 5 ways of how to get out the mud with fear. Let's give them 5 things to acknowledge or be aware of how that can fuel them to go to XYZ. You go first or me?
You can start this.
Okay, let me think. All right. I think number 1, I said this a couple weeks ago. Don't take personal. I think we were talking about how to control the flame.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you can't take everything personal,
Yeah.
And I talked about the different relationships you have. I think on this one, I'm going to go the opposite way. Take it personal. When it comes to fear, whatever that fear is, whatever that Goliath is trying to destroy you. Take that personal. Like Jared said earlier, if he in the house with somebody,
Yeah.
what? Like, that's personal. You coming in my space, coming in my family? Oh, it's either me or you.
Exactly.
So like my number one step, man, if you want to make that adjustment to allow fear to fuel you, you take it personal, straight up. Like I used to do bench press, and every school that was on conversation with me, out of the 8, 2 end up giving me an offer, but 6 of them didn't. They got another player. I'm bench pressing, and I'm calling the name of their school out. Seriously.
Absolutely.
I'm Rice. They were one of the schools, right? Texas, Louisiana Tech. I was starting naming every rep
Yeah.
of the schools that didn't give me that scholarship.
Absolutely.
And I used that. I took that personal. So my number one,
Take it personal.
take it personal.
Number 2, go to the gas station.
Ooh, get that gas. That's good.
So what you just said, it fuels you, right? Fear
Mhm.
fuels you. When y'all run out of gas, what do? Go
Get
to
more.
the gas station, right?
Get more gas.
You refill yourself. So the whole point of this is move towards what fuels you. If that's what fuels you, if whatever that fear is, if going and talking about a promotion, whatever that fear is,
Yeah.
if that's what scares you, go towards it because obviously that's where you need to be headed. Go towards your fear.
I like that. Personal. Go towards it. My third would be practice doesn't make perfect, but practice does make you better.
Practice makes you better. I like that.
And I think number 3 for me would be practice. Because practice is in a couple formats, so I'll go with 2. Practice on the craft that you want to get better at,
Mm-hmm.
and also know that practice it's a behavior. You know, I think people, if you ever listen to the thing of Allen Iverson, he wasn't necessarily saying that he didn't want to practice. He was basically saying that there were so many other things going on in his life, and the thing that they wanted to illustrate and point out was his effort or his attendance in practice.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the media does what the media does. But the reason why I'm saying that is because the gym, it's a lot of hours you're going to log.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why people have the mindset that, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds, so I'm going to show up for 3 weeks and I'm good. No, there's a lot of hours that's going to take place to lose 10 pounds. Same thing with nutrition, to fuel your body. The same thing, like, not that you ever went through this, but I've been through a breakup. When you go through a breakup, you don't get over that the next minute.
No.
You're going to have to practice some things to get over a breakup, right? You're going to have to, if anybody ever started a business, like, it doesn't turn abundant the next day.
Yeah.
There's some practices that you're going to have to do. So, man, just know that there are some hours of practice that you're going to have to produce.
I like that in terms of what you talked about. You said whenever you like on a rower today, like people around you in your head, you're thinking, oh, they watching me. Oh, I can't be the trainer that does X, Y, Z. And you're practicing that mentality. You're practicing that mindset. So if you do get to a point, let's say you're doing the Beast Mode games, when people are actually watching you, when people do actually have their eyes on you, you've been practicing
Been
like
there,
that the
done
whole
that.
time. Yeah.
Been there, done that.
So
True.
I love that practice.
I like it.
Number 4.
4.
Man, what are those things called on a ladder? Ladder. What is the things called?
The ladder.
Yeah,
Steps,
that could be climbing a
the
ladder.
iron.
Is it a step? It's called a something.
Maybe James, no. I think he's zoned out.
But either way,
Those things.
Yeah, those things. I was gonna say take it step by step, but with the ladder as a reference. But you get my point. If we're
Okay.
climbing up towards that, towards whatever that fear pillar is, take it step by step as you're going through it, and that's
dope.
That's the one thing that I would say. You got 1, you have to move, which is the first thing I mentioned. 2, you're not leaping towards it. You're not like take it
Yeah.
one step at a time, and whatever those steps are for you. For me, what made this, the positive side of me getting out of the stuff was just making a phone call. That was step 1. Step 2, I started writing stuff out. Step 3, I started asking for confirmation.
Yeah.
Step 4, then if we just went from step 1 to step 5, hey, I'm moving home.
Yeah.
Like that's a big leap,
Exactly.
but that wouldn't have happened without those other steps.
I
So
like
make sure
it.
you guys take steps.
I love it. That was 4.
Take us home.
So we had boom. Then we went to 2. 2 was, remind me? We forgot that quick. 1.
We talking.
Okay, back up. So I said
Take
that,
it personal.
taking it personal. 2,
Move towards your fear.
right. Number 3, practice. 4,
Step by step.
step by step. Saying those in that order. I'm going to my darkest place, my darkest moment of fear.
For the positive when it fuels you.
My 3 darkest places, man, was my mother. Just my mother. I use that one. To allow fear in that moment to fuel me. Shout out to my guy D. Crite. Y'all need to get his shirt. He has a shirt that says faith over fear.
Love that, man.
That's it. In that moment, I had to allow every effort of my being to work towards something that I've never seen in my life to produce something that I desired. In that moment, it wasn't to have pecs or a bicep. In that moment, it was like, how do I survive as a human? So I was trying to work towards something that I've never worked before, but creating that vision of what I wanted it to look like. I wanted to see me with peace and joy, happiness. I wanted to see myself around my family and friends again. I couldn't physically see it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
However, I worked based upon what I believe, not what I can physically see. And the reason why I'm pouring that out and trying to connect, I know that was a really extreme example, but somebody saying, yo, Chris, Jared, I'm trying to lose 50 pounds. I've never been 50 pounds less than what I am. I'm asking you to have faith over fear today, sis. Same thing for the person that says,
I love that.
I've never started my own business. I'm not asking you to have a business that made $10 million before to start a new one. I'm asking you to work based upon what you believe, right? That's life in itself. So that fear of not allowing, if you change that formula, if fear is greater than your faith, right? It stops you. You're limited. You don't see the things that you truly desire. However, if faith is over fear, golly, literally the sky is the limit. Straight up.
What I love about the fact that you ended with that is we ended the first part with trust.
Yeah.
Trust, faith over fear. It's like,
that's it. That's the formula. T-shirt. Put on a shirt. T-shirt. T-shirt. T-shirt.
Love that, man.
Man, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
That was solid. That was solid. That was solid.
Yeah.
I'm proud of this one.
Probably
Guys,
all.
episode number 1. Episode number 2, we're not gonna tell them. They
No.
just gotta tune in.
Yep.
So hey, do us a favor though. This means the world to us when you guys take snippets or whatnot. A lot of you, several of you, would inbox us and give us explanation, and Jared can agree or disagree. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say Chris says this and feels this way. I want this channel, I want this voice between Jared and I and the guests that we have to be a vibrant, growing thing for our world.
Yeah.
And the way that it happens, I know it may not seem like a big thing, but to me, man, when y'all just reshare a clip, or if you have a favorite part and you take a snippet and you then repost it,
Even if you disagree, tag us.
yeah, like we'd love to see it, man. And I just think that's just a way that we can again spread the gospel.
Absolutely.
And if you guys can do that, that would mean the world.
And we absolutely love talking with you guys, talking amongst each other. This is episode 1 of 5 when we're talking about.
I got 3 off. And I'm gonna tell you why. Oh, we're talking about our whole series.
Yeah.
We're talking about adjustments. Well, I got thrown off because Jason sat right in front of us.
It was a smile for me. It just, he
so
threw me
Jason's
off.
right behind the camera, guys. He did like this. And it like threw me off, dog. I didn't know what to say or do. But this whole
Episode
series,
1 of 5 of adjustments.
adjustments,
right?
right? Yeah. So you ready to get out?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
Tune
Hey,
into it.
we love you guys. Can't wait to see you. And y'all take care. Stay blessed.
Yep.